Welcome back to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Karina Cooper.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
I am here.
Good. That's always a good thing.
So, all right. So we are week 2
of recovery. Yeah.
Of recovery. Are we week 2? Or are we just week 1? Week 1.
No.
Or week 1.
Yeah.
Week 1 of recovery. So we are doing things a little different. If you guys didn't watch the last 2 episodes, we're doing 1 episode per week on Wednesdays. We switched it to Wednesdays, middle of the week.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get to it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we're going straight into trial on this one. The trial just happened at the end of June into July of 2025. I am a binge watcher for TV shows and trials, so I binged this trial. And it was a case out of Iowa where 48-year-old Karina Cooper is on trial for first-degree murder. The state says that Karina and her lover, Houston Danker, conspired to kill her husband, 42-year-old Ryan Cooper. He was shot twice in the face in the very early morning hours of June 18th of 2021 while he was sleeping in his recliner in his house, while Karina and their 3 kids were also home and sleeping.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, no time to waste. Karina called 911 at 4:33 a.m., and you couldn't make out hardly any words. She was hysterically screaming. Luckily for the 911 dispatcher, Ryan's brother Aaron had called 911 a minute later at 4:34. Karina had called him first, saying that someone was in the house. Now, he lived less than a mile from Karina and Ryan, so he jumped up, grabbed his 9mm, and headed to their house, just wearing pajama pants. He didn't even put a shirt on. He called 911 on the way, and you can hear the dispatcher say that they have a hysterical woman on another call that they can't understand. So he was able to give them information like, the address to send an ambulance to. Important information. When he gets to the house and first responders arrive, Ryan is in the recliner and Karina is on top of him. And she had smeared blood all over his face. So they couldn't immediately tell what was wrong. Aaron had touched him to check for a pulse when he got there and couldn't find one. But he said that Ryan wasn't warm. He wasn't cold. He just wasn't warm. So he was already gone, but not for very long. Police did testify that they noticed the blood had already started to coagulate on the floor, though.
So maybe she didn't call 911 immediately?
Right, and that's a hot topic.
Okay.
Time of death is not something you're going to hear in this case. This is something that no one was able to pin down. I mean, they have a general time frame, but they can't tell which end it's closer to. You know what I mean? They did talk to Karina down at the station several hours later when she calmed down. She tells them that they went to a ball game for one of the kids, stopped and picked up pizza for dinner, and came home. Everyone ate dinner and showered. She was the last to shower, and then she went to bed around 9 or 10 p.m., and she read a book on her Kindle. She had the 2 youngest in the bed with her, along with the dog at the foot of the bed. Her oldest son, who I believe was 12 at the time, was sleeping upstairs because this is a story-and-a-half house. But he watched TV on the couch with his dad, and then he ended up going to bed upstairs. According to Karina, Ryan is usually up and down throughout the night, and he snores. So he usually sleeps in the living room in the recliner. He has for about 4 years prior to this. So that's where he was. At about 11:30 or midnight, she gets up to use the bathroom. And she says the living room TV is on and she can hear Ryan snoring. So she goes back to bed and wakes up again sometime. She said usually she gets up around 3 a.m., but this time she didn't look at a clock or anything. So she didn't know exactly what time it was. But the second time she got up, the TV was now off, but Ryan was still snoring. She goes back to bed and she wakes up hearing a crash sometime later. Now, a couple of days before that, the shower caddy had fallen in the bathroom, so she thought that's what it was. But she checked the bathroom and the caddy was still in place. So she went to the kitchen and looked out the window, but didn't see anything. She swears she heard Ryan snore, and she was annoyed that the crash didn't wake him up. She goes into the living room and turns on a lamp. Now, she may have grabbed his toe. This is what she tells them in her first interview. That's usually how she wakes him up. But as she got closer, she saw that there was blood everywhere, so she screamed loudly.
So she didn't hear him snoring.
She later said that it was like a single snore that she heard. But it was the screaming that woke up their oldest son, who ran downstairs. And he ended up sliding on the blood that had pooled on the floor next to the recliner. Karina, thinking that someone is in the house, tells him to go into the room with the younger kids. She goes in there and calls Aaron, telling the kids to only open the door for her or Aaron, nobody else. And she tries to get her gun. Now, the gun is something that she says she has never shot before and doesn't know how to use. So it's in like a handgun safe, but she couldn't get the safe to open. So she goes and lays on top of Ryan. She was asked about how their relationship was. She said it was a good, normal relationship. They had no big problems that would end it. But while they take a break during that police interview, Aaron tells the police to ask her about Houston Danker. Now, it seems her secret affair was not so secret, and there were rumors all about town. So they ask her, and boy, was she offended. I mean, she was 44 at the time and referred to him as a kid, saying, quote, "He's 22 years old. No," end quote. Now, that was when they asked her if he had ever seen her naked, which is it was a thing. She says she had just cut his hair since she had a salon set up in one of the shops on the property, and he was a farmhand for a different farm, not Ryan's family farm. But they had, things to talk about in common, and she would babysit for him every once in a while. But one day, he sent her a Snapchat that was meant for someone else. Ryan saw it and confronted her about it. But they had worked all that out, and she decided that she was just going to stop being friends with Houston.
Or did she?
No, she did not. She admits on the stand that she's a liar whose pants are completely on fire. But that's way later. On that day, they interviewed Houston as well. And he said, and I quote this, that he was more like a gay best friend to Karina. Actual friends would testify at trial that she was the one in the relationship with Ryan that would complain, that she would yell at him, and he would just get quiet and ride it out. She would tell them that her money was house money, like to buy groceries and stuff for the kids, while he got what he wanted when he wanted with his money. And if he didn't get it, the farm would get it for him. It got to the point where if they went out with friends, the friends expected there to be an argument, especially if it had to do with money. Apparently, she was worse when she was drinking. The friend group referred to her as Karen when she was drunk. They even had t-shirts made about Karen. One friend testified that during one particular argument, Karina said she fucking hated him and would shoot him in the face. Lady? She apparently also liked to do projects, but with her lack of money, they fought a lot because Ryan didn't want to have to foot the bill all the time. She was racking up credit card charges, and they even brought in her banker to testify that her bank account was regularly overdrawn, and she had quite a few overdraft charges every year. Yeah.
Well, you'd think she'd stop doing projects.
You would think, but no. And they lived in a nice house. Like, his family owned a farm. They owned multiple houses. They paid everybody's cell phone bills. Like, they all lived in the same area because they helped each other farm. It was just a nice setup. And when you see, if you see crime scene photos where they took pictures of the house, it's immaculate. Like, the shop is nice. Everything's nice. But you can see too that like the floor in the house was down to the subfloor at the time of the shooting because she had been painting and was trying to recarpet. And they brought up that the outlets weren't covered, things like that, little ongoing projects she would do and leave half done because they'd then fight about the cost to do it. And let's go ahead and talk about that crime scene. The only gun there that was out when the cops got there was Aaron's 9mm. They did open the gun safe, and it had Karina's gun inside of it. Apparently, she was unable to open it with the fingerprint scanner, but the cops were. So I had to Google, and I think I talked to you about this. On some of those handgun safes, if you don't set your fingerprint on it, then any fingerprint will open it until you do.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind if you plan to buy one. Go ahead and set that fingerprint scanner up pretty quick. But at the house, neither one of these guns appeared to have been fired. So maybe it was a break-in or a robbery of some kind. But there's no signs of a break-in. You know, you look for damaged doors, windows, things like that. There's none of that. His wallet and a tablet were on the end table by the recliner. A tablet was on the kitchen table, and there was cash on the kitchen counter. There was a Michael Kors wristlet thing on the back patio outside, and they bring that up a few times in trial. But in the building or garage were his nice truck, a snowmobile. He had a safe with guns in it. All of it's still there and untouched. So this doesn't look like much of a robbery.
So nothing was stolen?
Not a thing. I mean, you've got cash laying there. It's still laying there. Like, that's easy to just grab and go. It just looked like someone came into the house just to shoot Ryan. There was a door right behind the recliner. You can see it in that bottom right picture on the thumbnail. The recliner's right there, and that door is literally right behind it. Police had to unlock that door to open it when they were there, right? Not a big thing. So explain why there was blood spatter on the inside edge of that door where the door meets the door jamb. That's on the picture on the bottom left. That's the door jamb when they open it and there's just spatter. It's also on the outside of that door. So that means that that door was open when he was shot. Then it was closed and locked. There were blood stains down the stairs outside of that door and a bloody shoe print on the gate for the stairs. So someone with shoes on that have a diamond pattern on the sole walked in that blood or had blood on the bottom and left out that door. But something I don't understand is how do you get a bloody shoe print only on the gate? Not leading up to it, not leading away from it, only on the gate. If someone could explain that to me, I would greatly appreciate it. This is also something that was brought up by Karina's defense attorney in trial. No one has an answer for it.
Yeah.
Also found in the living room was a single .22 caliber long rifle shell casing. So 2 shots, but only 1 casing. And they found a box of .22 long rifle shells in the garage safe with those guns, but it was a complete box. There were none missing. Another weird thing is that pool of blood that was on the floor next to the recliner. There was testimony that he was shot while he was laying in the recliner in a reclined position. When police arrived and Karina was on top of him, he was in the recliner in a reclined position. But there was no blood down his arm or down anything like of the chair that would say that it trailed away from his wound and then off to the side onto the floor.
So he had to be laid over at some point.
That's what the experts say.
Yeah.
That he had to be repositioned at some point and he had to be laid over or even his head just tilted over the edge to where that blood had time to pool. And it would have to be for a significant amount of time for there to be a pool. Now, before we get into the next part, I think that we need to go ahead and hear from today's sponsor.
If you're in a heated argument with your dryer, don't worry. You'll both cool down eventually. Or maybe you just need a washer and dryer. Don't get agitated. Take a load off.
Get your laundry set from My Laundry Solutions and let them iron out your problems. If you live in an apartment, get your set from them. They service them, and they have locations in Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. The most recent area is Lubbock, Texas, around the Tech Terrace area, with more locations coming soon.
So give them a call today, 800-535-4411.
Or go online to mylaundrysolutions.com.
And let them wash your troubles away.
Give them a shout today.
To wash your troubles away. Ooh. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Now let's talk about my favorite part of trials. Digital evidence. Cell data. Google searches. Locations. All the important things. And it was the Snapchat for me on this one. What stood out in this case were the messages. Snapchat is user-driven. You can set your messages to delete when you want or not to delete, like whatever you want to do. And they're deleted from your Snapchat, and then not too long after, They get deleted from Snapchat's servers, but they aren't always gone forever. And that's what happened in this case. She thought they were deleted, but they weren't. Yeah. Now, her and Houston had been sending sexy messages. I know you're shocked. She texted him talking about Ryan, saying, quote, fucking hate him, quote. They talked about vacationing together and how different it would be if it was the two of them instead of her and Ryan. She referred to her kids as his kids, like he was their daddy, and referred to Ryan as the sperm donor. She talks about wanting to be pregnant by his baby or with his baby by this time next year. And if surgery doesn't work, they'll try IVF. And then she had to explain to him what IVF was because he didn't know. They talk about touching each other's private parts. I'm not going to say the words. But they texted other shit too. Like 1 minute after sending a sexy message, she sends, quote, here's hoping for a rogue semi today. Big accident. No survivors, end quote. And that she doesn't want to wait another summer. Now, these were in the months leading up to the shooting, by the way, so keep that in mind. But it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine. Just 5 days before the shooting, she says Houston was belittling her, turned his anger towards her, and made her feel like a piece of trash cheater.
Well.
Girl, you're a cheater. Why are you so mad? Then the day before the shooting, she is referring to herself as his wife, and he says he will be sleeping with his hand on her crotch very soon. But he used a different word for that. And the poor digital forensic lady on the stand had to read these messages in court word for word. So it's clear that they were more than friends. But adultery and murder are two different things. The snappy chats from the day of the murder are what we need to know about. At 3:31 a.m., now remember, this is the day of the murder. It's heart emojis, more than fucking life, forever. You know, they're going back and forth like this. And then Houston says, quote, more than anything. Okay, babe, phone's going down. Send me something after I leave your house to then wait for me to open it. Deal? And she responds, deal, with a kiss emoji.
And that's an hour before she calls 911.
Right. She called at 4:33 a.m. So Houston also messaged her at 3:31 because they are rapid fire messaging. He says, quote, remember those casings. Fucking remember those. No ifs, ands, or buts, end quote. 14 seconds later, she responds, absolutely, 100%.
Well, she was 1 for 2 on that.
Yeah, you missed one. Big fail. There was only 2, and you missed one.
You had one job.
Exactly. 10 seconds later, Houston says, okay, phone's going down. I love you. 11 seconds later, she says, I love you too. Then they have another back and forth with a bunch of emojis and dumb stuff. So much and forever. And then Houston says, okay, babe, seriously putting the phone down. Have to get this shit done. I love you. And she says, go. Bro. Bruh. My shirt says it. The next snap is from him at 4:42 a.m. where he says, I just woke up. Now we know from her phone data that at 4:13 a.m. she watched a live photo on her phone, and then at 4:18 she deleted 2 Snapchat photos. So they go and recover those because they're like, this is in between her Snapchatting with him and when she called 911. So they recover those photos, but it's just photos of kids. So random. From 4:23 to 4:33 a.m., her phone records that she walks 170 steps. So they map out their house and they measure it. That is the equivalent of walking the entire house 9.5 times in 10 minutes. In that time, at 4:30 is when she called Aaron, and Aaron got to the house at 4:39, with the first deputy arriving at 4:42. Now, Houston's snap map data shows that he went by that Cooper house 3 times the night before the shooting between 7 and 10 p.m. So, sounds like he's casing the joint. But then his phone was at his house from 9:40 p.m. until 5:22 a.m. the next morning.
Okay, he left his phone at home.
Yep.
But those messages.
Yeah. They're pretty telling. Along with Houston's search history. Like, best ways to kill somebody with no way for anybody to find out who did it.
Don't search it.
In May, he was, I'm telling you, in May, he was searching stuff like cyanide and sodium sulfate and the black market. There were a bunch of searches for Snapchat stuff, like how to save snaps without the other person knowing, or how long after you delete it, does it delete everywhere? And I mean, it's just random things, a bunch of Snapchat stuff. But then in July, after the shooting, he was Googling, where do murderers go to prison? And
prison. It's not like it's like a different fucking it's prison.
Yeah.
It's just a different level.
And where's your state? Was it a federal crime? Maybe you'll be in federal prison. Then you can change states.
Yeah.
It's just to say, where do murderers go to prison? That's the most random ass.
An idiot.
Google was probably like, what? How do I even answer that?
Yeah. Even the AI was like, sorry, dumbass.
Sorry, can't compute.
Yeah. Can you rephrase the question?
Right. He also Googled how to positively get away with murder. So he's on one. Now, what is Karina Googling? I bet you're wondering. We don't know. Her history from February 13th to June 1st of 2021 was non-existent. The experts believe that she was using the secret search option while Googling. But the investigation went on. We know all of this now, but it takes time in real life. And Karina's life went on as well after the shooting. Ryan's $20,000 and $500,000 life insurance policies were paid out to Karina. She sold his nice truck to the Cooper family farm for $78,000. She sold his share of some farm equipment. So he went in halves with somebody on some farm equipment. She sold his half back to the other owner. She moved to a different house owned by the Cooper family farm. And she opened a second business that Ryan and her had been arguing about before his death. He didn't want her to open it. She did want to open it. He's gone now, and she's in business.
Did her and Houston get married?
No, quite the opposite. They broke up. Oh. And the investigation wasn't really moving like they needed it to. They didn't have anything putting Houston actually at the Cooper house that night. No murder weapon. They're missing a lot of things that they need to tie this together. They knew Karina was lying through her teeth, and she was putting on with them that she didn't know how to use a gun. She even called Aaron 2 weeks after the shooting, asking him what a shell casing was. I mean, sure. Most people know. I would think everybody basically knows what a shell casing is. That shit pops up
everywhere. I mean, it's...
Even if you don't know, they're a family of hunters.
Yeah.
Okay? They hunt. She doesn't, but her kids do. Her husband does. She's around guns. Okay, anyways. But they find out later that she also has her carry permit. Lady? A friend even testified that they took a concealed weapon permit class at Karina and Ryan's house. So they're even hosting these damn permit classes. Now, here, you have to show that you know how to shoot a gun before you're allowed to carry one around, right? So if you go to get your permit, we're now open carry, but Back in the day, if you were going to get your open carry permit, you had to shoot your gun. You
have to hit the target. I think it's 3 or 4 times.
There's requirements. They're not just going to be like, you look like you could shoot. Yeah. You're fine. But that's not a requirement in Iowa.
You got to get 70% in order to get your...
And that makes sense.
Bill, yeah.
But that's not a requirement in Iowa. In Iowa, you do not have to shoot a gun as part of your training or testing. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't break in nobody's house in Iowa.
Yeah, yeah, that's going to be going everywhere. Oh, God.
No, I know some people in Iowa. Well, you don't want to mess with them.
I'm telling you. This is farm country, bro.
Yeah.
Country folk. Now, there were friends that testified about also having conversations with her about how smoothly a .22 caliber handgun shoots compared to other guns. Like she had told somebody, well, yeah, I was shooting a such and such. And once I shot my mother-in-law's .22, I knew how it should be. It wasn't much kick and it was this, it was quieter. It was
Well, and like most states too, like in Oklahoma, and you get your concealed carry license, whenever you whenever you test it out and everything and you do your class, whatever gun you test with,
right.
Basically,
That's what your permit's for.
It's that caliber and below.
Right.
So if she tested with a 22, it's 22.
Right.
But if she went in with a 45, then it's 45 and below.
Right.
So.
But since she didn't have to shoot, it doesn't matter to her.
I know. That's what I'm saying. In Iowa, I don't know. I mean, hell, they might just be like, oh, yeah, just whatever gun you want. It's no big deal.
That's
50
pretty
cal?
much it.
Hell yeah, do it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Either way, police feel like that they had enough. Like, they had enough to arrest Karina. And so they did in February of 2024. Houston was then arrested in April of 2024. They did find that he had a pair of Vans shoes that had a diamond pattern on the soles that kind of matched that gate. So you can see the shoes on our thumbnail pic. And then right to the left of those shoes is the gate with the bloody print on it. So you can see diamonds and diamonds. Now they did test them though, but after so many years, there was no DNA found on the shoes. So they couldn't say these are definitely the ones. They could just say, look at how close they are. The clincher for him was that also in April of 2024, an ex-coworker, Bradley, gave the police some guns. It seems Houston had given him these guns to hold on to in late summer or early fall of 2023. This was an AR-15, a double-barrel shotgun, and a Ruger 1022 rifle. They were able to take that rifle and that one sole shell casing from the Cooper house, good job, Karina, and prove that shell casing was shot through that rifle.
Yep. Every gun has its own fingerprint.
It does.
Every time when the fire pin hits that shell in a certain spot or in a certain way or in a pattern, it shows it's its own little fingerprint.
Plus, it's like the way it goes through the barrel too, right? Like it makes the striations on the side. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, it just depends on how the rifling is and all that stuff. I mean, it's just, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's just.
We just keep saying, yep.
I mean, it's how it is. I mean, they've got their own fingerprint. I mean, why keep that gun?
Why keep that gun?
I mean,
what?
Dummy.
And then you give it to somebody to hold for you?
Yeah, here, hold on to this murder weapon for me.
And then the friend was like, they were asking him when he was on the stand, they were like, why'd you take it to the police? Is it because you knew he wasn't coming to get it? Which to me indicates after he got arrested. And the friend said, yep. So I guess he saw he got arrested and was like, well, he's not coming to get these. I'll just take him to the cops then. Yeah. So that was the smoking gun, pun intended. We won't be able to talk about the now 27-year-old Houston's outcome because it is still coming. He doesn't go to trial until August. But all of this is coming to us through Karina's trial. She did take the stand, as I mentioned before. Her attorney asked her about visiting the Hunter's Education website and screenshotting images of the common types of handgun bullets, what each one is best used for, and which one gives you the cleanest kill. She said her oldest had turned 12 and he was going to take the hunter safety course, so she decided to take it as well. And she wasn't doing very good on the test, so she took these screenshots to help her cheat.
Sure.
Yeah. She did admit to lying to police when she told them that she had never shot a gun. She said that she has never shot a handgun, still to this day, but she did shoot a rifle about 25 years ago.
I'm pretty sure on the hunter safety course, even when I took it, I don't remember a question saying, which caliber bullet gives you the cleanest kill?
Right. Right. 100%. When talking about her relationship with Houston, She said that he got his hair cut every 10 days. So apparently someone had told him if you get it cut every 10 days, it looks like you never get a haircut, right? It just stays the same all the time.
Yeah.
They started flirting during these haircuts. He was heavy on the flattery, giving her attention that she wasn't getting from Ryan. But she stopped cutting his hair in February of 2021. Remember, because he sent that snap and Ryan saw it and she was like, oh, it was an accident. So she stopped being his friend. But the online romance kicked up to full vulgarity. She says they only saw each other in person one time after February, and it was in a public place. So she could give him some beard wash. He had asked her to get this beard wash for him, and she was coming back through, and she was like, meet me here, and I'll give it to you. And so they literally met up in public, and she gave him that and a birthday present for his kid. She says that Houston, during this online rampant buildup, was acting like she was cheating on him with Ryan, her own husband.
Oh, she's playing the victim.
Yes. She says he threatened Ryan sometimes, saying things like, don't use your husband's truck in the morning. It's going to have a bomb under it. And she replied, thanks for the heads up, lady. She said she didn't take any of what he said seriously. She was asked about the message about picking up the shell casings. Like, what about that? She said that he had referred to that before, saying, if you walk in the shop and find your husband, make sure you pick up the shells for me. Because according to CSI, that's how the killer always gets caught. Again, she said she didn't take that seriously.
Mm-hmm. No, obviously, because she missed one.
They also asked her about the text where she said just the word go. Remember, that's the last text that was sent before Ryan was shot. She testified that she'd actually sent 3 messages in a row. Go, period. To, period. Sleep, period. But the state only showed the first one. Go. So it makes it look bad.
Of course. You know, and you know what? Now right there is quite possible.
It is.
Because how many times have I annoyed you by just doing single letter messages just to get your attention?
Yes.
So,
yeah,
they could take out. They can manipulate stuff. I'll give her that one.
They can.
They can manipulate it. I mean, hell, they can even take any text, any message. They can do any voicemail, any voice message, and cut out whatever they want and everything just to make it sound bad.
They can.
Now the news does it all the fucking time.
They will twist that shit in a minute.
Anyway.
But when I first heard of this, I was like, okay, whenever they said he texted her an hour after, there was like an hour gap in text, and he said, just woke up. When she said, I texted him, go to sleep, I was like, is that code? Go to sleep being like, the coast is clear, like everyone's asleep, come in the house, now's the time. You know what I mean? Like, go. And then he texted, I just woke up, to let her know that he was clear, that he had got rid of the gun, that he was back at his house. So I'm immediately like, okay, go to sleep, just woke up. Those sound like code to me. So that's where my brain went when she said that. But we're going to blow that out of the water.
That probably could.
I mean, it's just my suspicious mind always.
Very possible. I mean, he was looking up different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
He might have looked up some James Bond shit.
He could have. The duck flies at midnight or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, man up, honey.
But we're gonna blow all that whole conversation out of the water here in a second.
Oh, okay.
She says beginning September of 2021, Houston started threatening her. So this is after the shooting.
Sure.
She kept lying to police because she was scared of him.
Sure.
He would Snapchat her that he knew where she was.
Okay.
What she was wearing.
Absolutely.
And reminding her that he knew powerful people.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
They had only had sex one time.
Must not have been that good.
Well, according to her, that was after that haircut in February. So that was the real reason that she stopped being friends with him in February, because she said she was so disgusted. And that was it. Now, not necessarily disgusted like he's gross, but disgusted like I just slept with somebody that's not my husband. For what? He's not even a good guy. Like, what am I doing with my life? The prosecutor asked her about her saying that she would shoot him in the face. Remember, my friend testified. She said she denies that she has ever said that. So he's like, oh, okay. Did Karen say that? And I was like, burn. She said no. She's the only witness that the defense called. So once she was done, that was it. The state called the digital forensic investigator who did those text message evidence. They called them back as a rebuttal witness. And the state asked her if the messages that said, or if that message that said go was followed by any other messages, like saying to sleep. And she said, nope, they were not. She said go was the last message that was sent at that time. So this is why I love a rebuttal witness. Because she got up there saying, oh no, I said go to sleep. And then this lady comes in and says, you did not. You said go. And that was it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to believe the expert. But there was a message too that she talked about that Karina sent to Houston at 4:21 a.m. that could not be recovered. So she points to that. She's like, I can't even see when a message was sent, even if it's deleted and I can't see what the message said. I can still see that a message was sent. And there was nothing after go until 4:21. And I need to know what the fuck she said at 4:21, because that's before she called Aaron and before she called 911. So what did she say to him?
Probably, I'm about to call 911. Heart emoji.
Heart. Yes. So
Yeah. Was it heart?
Now, in Sir rebuttal, so this is the defense's own people, they called a digital forensic examiner. But it was pretty much the defense asking if the missing Snapchat messages, the to sleep, could be from data loss. Well, yes. So the state said, could it also be from someone deleting incriminating evidence? Also, yes. The state was on it on this one. So the jury deliberates for just under 3.5 hours and comes back with a guilty verdict.
Of course.
Because they say, in the closing argument, they tell the jury, they're both charged with first-degree murder, right? And they're both guilty of first-degree murder.
Yep. If
they both knew about the murder before it happened. So Karina being complicit, Karina being not assisting, but abetting.
Mm-hmm.
She knows it's going to happen. She does nothing to stop it, and she covers it up, and she's part of it. So she can also be tried for first-degree murder, and they found her guilty of first-degree murder, even though they don't know if she pulled the trigger or not. Nobody knows who pulled the trigger. Just saying. She will be sentenced at a later date, but she is allegedly getting life. Like, that's all I've been seeing is that it's a standard life sentence. So I don't know why they make people wait. That's another thing that the judicial system does.
Just try and collect more money.
Yeah. But after those Snapchat messages, I think the jury got it right. What say you?
And they could say, oh, no, we're not trying to collect. Yeah, you are. You're getting more court fees. You're getting more, the attorneys are getting more money. I mean,
yes,
everybody's getting more money. Whether you want to say, no, I'm not, or whatever, in some way or form, you're getting more money. That's why you guys push this shit on.
I was not a fan of her attorney. She was off to me. I don't know if it's nerves or what. The way she talked in her closing argument was weird. But once they said guilty, Karina stands there crying. Like, she cried through a lot of the trial, but she's standing there crying. There's not a single handshake, pat on the back. Her attorney literally looked at her side-eyed 2 times that I saw before they put handcuffs on her, and they were gone, like completely away from her. It was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
They probably just did their job. They tried to defend her and was like, did what we could.
Because there's no defending all that evidence.
No, they already knew they was beat.
Yeah. But yeah, they still could have been like, sorry, girl, we tried to warn you. It was not going to go right.
I mean, yeah, you can only do so many searches.
Right. You can only send so many snappy chats and think you deleted them. So what she did was she had them set to delete off her Snapchat, but your phone still records it. So they didn't get the information from these Snapchats from Snapchat. They got them from her cell phone carrier.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And she didn't know that could be that way. So that's what got her caught. But anyways, you think it's right? You good?
Oh, yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Nope.
Guilty. So I will, that was, just caught that noise. I will definitely update when Houston's trial comes to be. I doubt we have very much more information because a lot of his stuff came out in this trial. But if we do, we'll definitely be sure to update. If not, we'll just give you the verdict. But if you like our content, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
And as always, make sure you guys tell your friends because they deserve to hear us too. Until next time, we'll see you.
Bye.